Welcome to Vital ID, World Leaders in Worker Emergency ID. I'm Treive Nicholas, and I'm going to lead you through this short training program that's going to help you understand our company, hopefully have a better understanding of our products, and also I'll help you understand how to deal with some of the difficult questions you may be asked by customers and clients. I'd really like to just start by telling you a little bit about the company itself. We don't think we're like a lot of other companies. We're a small family company based out of Vancouver Island, all the way on the west coast of Canada. We've got premises in Washington State in the USA, and we've also got offices here in the UK. So that in fact means that we can cover the whole world, from North America, South America, Africa, Middle East, Europe, UK, and even the Middle East and Far East. So we're a company that's global, but the strange thing is, or the interesting thing is, that that's not how we started. The company started probably about 10 years ago, and the company started by accident. My sister emigrated to Calgary in Canada, where she had two small boys. Well, one day she went to the local shopping mall, and unfortunately she lost one of the boys for 20 minutes. Well, can you imagine what that feels like? I mean, I don't really need to tell you, losing one of your kids in the shopping mall for 20 minutes would be horrific, frightening. Anyway, I'm pleased to say it had a happy ending. She found Fraser, he was okay, but to make sure that that sort of thing didn't happen again, she went home and made Fraser an ID wristband so that if he ever got lost, he could be identified and returned to Sarah pretty quickly. Well, strangely enough, his brother wanted an ID wristband, then the neighbour's kids wanted an ID wristband. And before she knew it, Sarah had a mom and pop business, a business starting on the kitchen table, making and selling emergency eye wristbands to children and to other people that have illnesses or some sort of vulnerability. Well, that was fine. Well, it didn't stop there. Sarah noticed that her husband Gary went out cycling. And she also noticed quite a few people in the community would go out skiing. And there was a similar problem that they could face. What if one of them had an accident? Would somebody know who they were in the event of an accident or emergency? Would the paramedics know what medical conditions those people might suffer from, or what medication? Well, without further ado, Sarah got to the task and started to make emergency ID to go onto the hard hats, or the hats of cycle helmets, and for ski helmets. So now she had a second business, again working out of the home, and making emergency ID to go onto leisure hard hats. Well, this was a mom and pop business that was doing all right until one fateful day, story changed. She got a phone call from a large construction company asking whether she could make emergency ID to go on to hard hats for industrial purposes. Well, really, to cut a long story short, Sarah was able to make emergency ID for hard hats, and in the last 10 years the business has grown from the kitchen table in Calgary to an international business based out of Vancouver Island, based on growing emergency ID for heavy industry and light industry. So that's where we are. We're a family business. We're very much focused on people like yourself and on your customers. We're very much focused on providing high quality service, because that's the background that we've come from. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea of who Vital ID are and what we're about. Now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the product, the different products we've got. Some of you may be familiar with the products already. To others this might be something new. So I'll try to cover all bases, so that you all walk away a little wiser about the products, so that you know that it can help your customers and clients. So where do we get started? Let's start here. So here we have a worker emergency ID that goes on the side of the hard hat. Well, the first thing you notice is it's nice and conspicuous. It's bright yellow. It's in high-vis 3M Scotch-Lite material, and the benefit of that is it can be seen in low light conditions or in the dark, particularly important in places like Northern Europe, where we do have some pretty atrocious weather, and where it can get dark, particularly early in the winters. So it's very visible. Most importantly, the most important people to see this are the paramedics in the event of an accident or emergency. There we are, there's an example of another product. The other important thing about these products is you can see that they're adhering to the hard hat. Now, I'm going to say this once, I'm going to say it twice, I'm going to say it 3 times, but it's important that I say it because you're going to get asked this question. Does the glue damage the helmet? Is the adhesive compromising the integrity of the lid? Well, I'm pleased to say the answer is no. And we know that because we've used special glue formulated by 3M to go onto hard hats. It doesn't damage the helmet. Now, belt and braces, we didn't accept just what 3M was saying. We actually gave the products to helmet manufacturers and asked them to test the product on their hard hat. Does the glue damage the helmet? No. So I can say with confidence to you, and you can say with confidence to your customer, the adhesive used by Vital ID does not damage the integrity of the hard hat. And that's important because you will get asked that many times when you're talking about selling it to customers. Another issue that might come up is what about data protection? Inside here is personal information belonging to workers. Well, I'm pleased to say that this information has a tamper-proof seal in here so that the only person that should be able to access that in the event of an accident or a medical emergency is the paramedic or the first responders. So I've got a seal over there. This one's got a seal over here. So when the paramedics arrive and when there's an accident or an emergency, they peel this open. I've got one already prepared for you, a little bit like Blue Peter, where this opens up and inside you've got important information that the paramedics will access when a worker is injured or where there's a medical emergency. Now, when the paramedics already got some basic but essential information to help them manage the first 10 to 20 minutes of an incident. First of all, they know who the person is. Sounds very basic, but out there in the workforce, where there are transient workforces, contractors, new people on site, large workforces, that can be a problem. Somebody can be injured, someone can have an incident, people don't even know who the person is. Well, that problem's solved with Vital ID. We've also got the contact details for the person's boss so that the company can be notified. And this particular worker has chosen to add family information so that they can be contacted, and they've also added information about any allergies or medication that they're on or any medical conditions. Now this can be used to put other information on. Some people put on, for example, their blood group if they've got a rare blood group. Others have added medical insurance numbers. All manner of things. The main thing is it's information that the workers or people want in the event of an accident or emergency. And this point is very important. It's important to say that people shouldn't be forced to put on here any information that they don't want to. It's their decision. The question is, what information do they want the paramedic to see in the event of them being injured or having an accident or having a medical condition? Well, you can reasonably ask someone to put on their name. You can reasonably ask them to put on their boss's details. The rest of the information, take a more relaxed approach. Take a softly approach. And you'll find that people are much more comfortable adding the information that they want to add that's relevant to them in the event of something going wrong. And we know that works. Well, I'm talking about this piece of paper. I should really stress this is no ordinary piece of paper. This is a high quality synthetic paper. It's very difficult to tear, and also very importantly it's waterproof. And let's have a look what we've got over here. So here's an ID which has been in here for probably 4 to 6 months. I can't quite remember, but it's been in here for several months, and the writing on it is not coming off. So we know that if it gets wet, it'll still be legible to paramedics and first responders. Now, there you are. The information won't come off. That'll stay on there. And what we recommend is that someone uses a permanent marker or a Sharpie pen. They write their information on there, and we're confident that even if it's exposed to pretty harsh climates, then it'll be very durable. So, what else have we got? Well, we're also all mindful that bump caps are becoming more popular. So the point I want to make is that our ID sits on bump caps quite comfortably. It also sits on high-vis jackets. And this is an example of our O2G product. First thing to notice is orange, which is important in some industries. And it's called O2G, because it's global. It's written in 8 languages, so the instructions can be read by people that don't have English as their first language. And we also use symbols in there. So that gives you the confidence that you can use it not just on hard hats. Now, what else have we got? Well, we do have some other products for hard hat. If customization, if branding is very important to your customer, then we've got our Worker Safety ID 06, which we've brought in from the USA, and this has the branding of a major corporation on it. In this particular case, we've got G4S, but given a lead time of about 5 weeks, we can actually put on most logos on there, and we know that's important for different clients. Information's inside. The other thing you may notice is we've got this product on the front here. This is our Worker Safety ID 03, and this is almost like an induction sticker, and it's valued particularly by site foremen, people that are looking after building sites, people where they've got a large volume of traffic coming in during the course of the day. And this is helpful because it allows someone to put their name on it. They can also put on if they've been inducted to the site and maybe when they should be leaving. So if you're a site foreman and you want to have a better control of your site, then this simple little product works wonders and can be used in conjunction with the other Worker Safety ID, which contains more information. One thing I should say is it's very low cost, and it comes in packs of 25, very easy to use, very low cost. So wonderful. Now, let's be clear, these sorts of products are used in a range of industries. So, what are we talking about? Well, think, have you got customers working in construction, railways, utilities, road maintenance, marine, oil and gas? If you've got people that are in moderate to high risk occupations, if they're wearing PPE, if they're out there wearing hard hats, then Vital ID is a sort of product that will certainly interest them, and perhaps you should be talking to them about. Now, I've shown you the sort of ID products that go onto hard hats. You may get asked, or somebody might comment, is that they don't always wear the hard hat, or they don't have an occupation where they don't wear a hard hat. Well, I'm pleased to say that we've thought of that as well. We've got our fabulous product called the Universal Fit ID, or WS-ID 05, and that can sit on belts, it can sit on harnesses. I'm actually wearing one around my neck as well. It's got emergency information inside, it's very clear. You can also put it onto boots as well, so very flexible. It attaches using the chain, or it attaches using a silicone band. Same principle, it sits, you never have to use it, it's locked, but in the event of an accident or emergency, if someone collapses, when the paramedics arrive, it's a case of opening the hinge. What you've got inside looks very small. Well, I'm pleased to say it opens out to the size of a credit card, and there you've got the information that the paramedics can use to help address the medical emergency or the accident. People can write on here what they want again, and also bear in mind this is made of the same very high quality synthetic paper, so it doesn't tear easily, and if it gets wet, the information doesn't rub off. Even then, bear in mind it has got a silicone seal, so the chances of it getting wet are very slim. So that's our range of Worker Emergency ID. So hopefully that helps you and helps you addresses some of the issues or familiarises with the products. What I'd like to now do is just run through the sorts of things, remind you again of the questions that you're likely to get asked, so that you're comfortable and you feel credible in front of different sorts of clients. So the key question is, what's the main question that you're going to ask when you talk about it to somebody? You know the answer, about the adhesive, about the glue. And we know that that's not a problem because we know that the glue has been formulated by 3M for going on hard hats. We also know that Vital ID has given the products to hard hat manufacturers for them to test. And we've been given a tick, clean bill of health, does not a problem. We also know that data protection is not an issue. We've got a product that's got a strong tamper-proof seal, and the only person that should be opening that are the paramedics and the first responders in the event of an accident or emergency. I have forgotten one. Or have I? The question, always important, when we're all going to get asked, cost. How expensive is this? Well, the way we like to put it, and it's very easy to remember, Worker Safety ID saves lives. It's simple, it sits on the side of a hard hat. Worker Safety ID for hard hat costs about the same price as a cup of coffee from the high street, from your local Costa. Your cappuccinos, your flat whites, your lattes. So, is a customer really telling you, are you telling a customer, am I telling you that someone's life, that extra security, is not worth the same as a cup of coffee on the high street? Because that's what we're talking about. This is not an expensive item. It's a very high quality item with a good track record, but it's not expensive. So remember, are you prepared to help save someone's life for the price of a cup of coffee? There we go. I'll leave you with that thought. Except my final thought really is to say thank you very much for your time. I mean it sincerely, we are here to help you. You are our eyes and ears out there in the field. We've got brochures that we can provide you with. We've got samples. On our website we've got videos, we've got images, we've got product sheets. So if you need information to help communicate with your customers, then we've got what you need. Go to vitalid.com and make a request, and we'll be delighted to provide you with the information. So we're here to help and we're here to save lives. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope that's of some use to you and your customers.